Hey guys, welcome to Analytics Advantage. Thank you for tuning back in. Today's video is going to be a pick on the Belmont Stakes and also kind of a review of everybody else that I've seen so far talking about it, some info going into the race, things like that. So first of all, let's cover the post position for Belmont Stakes. If you're not familiar with horse racing, that's fine. You don't need a lot of money to make these bets, and really, it's the cheapest way to make a lot of money. So even if you're brand new, to horse racing, take a couple dollars, throw it on the race. If you win, you can win a lot of money. If you don't, well, you wasted like $2. So as far as post position is where the horse starts from. What gate are they in? Are they number 1? Are they number 7? Are they number whatever? Different horse tracks have different post positions that are beneficial. So for the Belmont, for example, number 1 is the best spot. Number 7 is also a pretty good spot. And then from the research I was doing, actually, when there are bigger fields, like if it's going to be 10 or more horses, the number 10 spot is okay. It's a little bit better than average. But if there is 11 plus horses, every time that that's happened, one of the horses that's 11 and further out comes in the money, which means they come in the top 4. So for this particular race this year, 2021 Belmont Stakes, there's only 8 horses. So the only 2 spots that are really beneficial to anybody are 1 and 7. The number 1 horse is Bourbonic. He does have Todd Pletcher as a trainer, which Todd Pletcher is really good at the Belmont, and that's awesome. But he has 3 horses in the race, and I can tell you, just from watching a lot of horse racing over the years, if they have more than 1 horse in the race, usually there's 1 horse they really, really like, and the others are just kind of there to play setup or to maybe try and kind of assist, for lack of better words. So just because it's a Pletcher horse doesn't mean you should automatically put money on it. As far as to win, but I am going to be using this horse underneath. This is not necessarily that I think he's even going to come in the money, but I would be kicking myself if this horse came in 4th and ruined the superfecta for me, and especially with such long odds, because he's going to really boost the payout if he were to come in. I do think his odds are going to kind of decrease, though, because I'm not the only person that knows that 1 is a good position to come out of. I'm also not the only person that knows he's a horse from Todd Pletcher's farm. It's 15-1 right now was the morning line. I think by the time the race actually kicks off, he is probably going to be more like a 10-1 horse. Either way, though, it's still much better than the favorites that are out there that I actually really do like. And I hate that I'm just going with the favorites, but they're favorites for a reason. They are really, really good, and they're coming at starting at a really good position. So the number 7 horse, which again is the only other horse that really has an advantage as far as starting position, is going to be Rock Your World. Rock Your World is a great horse. Actually, going into the Kentucky Derby, he was one of the favorites, and I'll tell you, I really like him as a winner, or a possible winner for the Belmont, and so I'm going to be using him in the win spot. And I'm going to kind of just have him boxed all over the place. So if I have multiple tickets, he's going to be on multiple tickets. But that's really it as far as post position. There's not really a whole lot of other beneficial spots. The other thing is, the worst spot statistically is the 5-hole. And really in an 8-horse field, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't give a whole lot of... it really shouldn't make a big factor for you. Yes, it's sort of something you need to take into account. You need to be aware of it because of the way the track is shaped. That one position that gets to kind of the shortest route, and they do have wide turns at Belmont, so it is beneficial in that matter. But other than that, this is really more of an issue when we have big fields, when we have like 11, 12, 13 horses. The reason for that is if there's less horses, you have less kind of issues, less obstacles when the horse is trying to break, when they're trying to speed up, or they're trying to maybe just kind of play on pace. They're not having to worry about getting boxed in, about having to go out super, super wide to make their move. If it's only 8 horses even if they have to go around another horse to kind of make their move or get in position, they're only going to should only have to go 2 or 3 horses wide. Whereas if it's like a 20 horse field, you might be 6, 7 lanes away just trying to get the horse in the position you want him to be in, and then you have to still try and make your run up to the front. Which, if you've ever played track or if you ever just run on a track, obviously the wider you go, the harder it is. And then to have to try to kind of narrow down and come in at an angle just makes it harder. Just geometry, right, guys? So that being said, this 8-horse field, I'm not putting a whole lot of credence into it's in the 1 spot or the 7 spot, so it's got to win. But I do really like the 7-horse just as a standalone horse. He's just an amazing. He's got great stats, great trainer, great pedigree. He's just a great horse in general. So the 7 hole, nothing else. It's just kind of if that little bit of a boost helps any, it's there. Next thing I want to talk about though is Superfecta. This is what I'm playing for. You can play like a win-play show for this, and that's what I was talking about earlier. If you wanted to just put like $2 on something, you put a $2 bet on a horse to show or to win. If they were to come in, you win some money on that. If it's obviously a longer odds horse, then you'll win more money. In 2015, though, American Pharoah won, and he won the Triple Crown, and the Superfecta was only $285, a $1 Superfecta. And the reason I bring that up is because, one, American Pharoah was the heavy favorite, and that's because he was running for the Triple Crown. So people knew his name, everybody wanted a piece of the action, people thought he was amazing, and they knew how fast he was. So it really didn't, help us with the payouts any. But aside from that, we had really a lot of the favorites come in. Even like the place and show bets didn't really win anything there. It was like if you placed a show bet on the horse that came in there, I can't remember his name right now. It was like you won like $3, so you won like $1. So Superfecta was really low, but also the other part that goes into that is there was only 8 horses, and that's specifically why I picked that year. That's the last time that we had an 8-horse field. So obviously, if there's less horses, it's much easier to hit the Superfecta. And when it's easier to hit the Superfecta, you have a few things come through. So it's easier to hit it, and the favorites win. It's going to be a low payout, and it's really I really see it going the same way this year. I do see the favorites winning, and really what I'm hoping for is that one of the longer shots comes in, like in third or fourth, to just kind of boost the odds up. But even that, if you have an 8-horse field, odds are a lot of the guys that are paying a lot of money to get the Superfecta, they're going to throw these horses in there. So I don't know how much more the payout's going to really be if like the Vermont comes in fourth. I would assume it's going to be a little more than the 285 before, but who knows? Because that year even you had a lot of money coming in because people were betting on American Pharoah. It was kind of in the American mind at that point because we kept hearing about this horse run for the Triple Crown. That being said, just kind of be wary. If you do try to play a Superfecta, I would not be paying more than like 120. I think is what you can get away with for like a 5-horse box. Really, because if you pay more than that, you're going to end up, it's very, very possible that you win just your money back, even if you hit the Superfecta. So just don't throw too much money at it. $120 just for 5 horses boxed. And so if I were to box, and I really did think about doing this, that it would be 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 would be my 5-horse box. It costs $120. I didn't really want to do that, just because that does not leave me any room for like a true long shot to come in. At that point, I'm just hoping all the favorites win, and if they do, great, but I'll win like $100 at most. Anyways, so the best thing I could do, or the kind of the middle ground I could find, as far as, hey, I want to take these favorites because these are the ones I really think are going to win, but I also want to leave just a little bit of room for some of the longer shots to come through, and to not mess up my Superfecta, but also kind of give me that little bit of an extra boost in pay if they happen to come through. So first of all, let's go through the horses I like. 2, 4, 7. and then 3 and 6. So 2, 4, 7 are the horses I think can like legitimately win this race. I do think the 6 has a chance of winning. Essential Quality is really my top pick. Essential Quality is just, he was unbeaten into the Kentucky Derby. He had just a really long, wide run at the Kentucky Derby, and he had a bad start, and he was running, like, if you ask me, he was running the fastest, and he ran the furthest in that race. He just bad starting spot. That is not going to be an issue with this race. He is going to be in the 2 position, so obviously if the 1 is the best position, the 2 should be pretty close. Especially now that we have a really good horse coming out of that position. I just really love where he's at. I love the horse. Luis Saez is the jockey. It's awesome. Great trainer. Everything's going for him. I think the 1.5 miles is the only question I have about him, is can he run the full 1.5 miles? But honestly, it's not like any of these horses are running the 1.5 miles regularly. So I think he's going to be fine. I don't think that the extra half mile, I think he's going to be towards the lead, not the leader, but towards the lead for most of the race, and just kind of, biding his time, setting that slow pace so that he has that kick for the last stretch. So I really love Essential Quality. Hot Rod Charlie is amazing. He's just like Essential Quality. They're actually coming out of the same stable. Great jockey. Was the one on Ronbauer, the Preakness, is now on Hot Rod Charlie. Hot Rod Charlie actually beat Essential Quality in the Kentucky Derby, but he also did have a better start, better position. And I think with the issues with Medina Spirit, with the testing and all that kind of stuff, he's actually going to be listed as the 2nd place winner at the Kentucky Derby. Hot Rod Charlie he's really competed with the best of the best horses. He has not taken any shortcuts. He hasn't played against weak opponents. He has been racing against top tier grade 1 opponents pretty much every race, and he's won. He's even 3rd in I believe it's the Louisiana Stakes. I apologize, I'm probably getting that wrong now off memory, but he's just an amazing horse. I loved his Kentucky Derby race, and for those reasons, I also think he can win. 7 is Rock Your World. Rock Your World, another horse that was a heavy favorite at Kentucky Derby. Same thing happened to him. He just got a really bad start. If you've watched any other racing videos, you already know what happened. He got a bad start. The jockey actually lost his whip. Horse just kind of got mixed in the shuffle. It's just a bad race for him. Not to say, I know a lot of guys are just just throw it out the window, didn't happen, but I'm not going to do that. Bad races are bad races, they happen. But that being said, I don't think that one bad race is going to stop me from saying that he's a really good horse, and that he's in the 7 hole, and that he has the pedigree to go the 1.5 miles. So those are the 3 horses I really like to win. And what I've done here is I've used them as all 4 spots, so essentially just a box on those 3 horses. I do have 6 known agenda, also a top Pletcher horse, and again, Pletcher is important because he is essentially, this is like his home turf. He knows how to run this race. I actually think the 6 could win, but if you put him in the win spot, it really just jacks up the price. And it's not to say, like I said, I do think he can win. So that would totally mess us up, and obviously we're trying to beat him here, and we're trying to say that doesn't happen. But I don't think he's good enough to beat Essential Quality, Hot Rod Charlie, and Rock Your World, especially when he doesn't have any additional benefits going for him. He doesn't have the benefit of being close to the rail like Essential Quality. He's not coming out of that 7 spot that's produced more winners. So there's too many other good horses that I have not seen him beat, and I don't think he's going to beat them. And I also, his running style is fine. I think he's going to be, again, not in the lead, but towards the leaders as we kind of come towards the last stretch of this race. But I don't think he has the kick that an Essential Quality or a Hot Rod Charlie have. And I've seen those horses duel it out. I know how fast they can go, and I don't think Known Agenda can keep up. For those reasons, I think he's going to be a factor, but I don't think he's going to win. And so I have him listed as just the second, third, or fourth place. And then we have Ronbauer. And Ronbauer, honestly, is kind of makes me mad just even having to throw him in here. He's one of these horses that he is a closer. The closers just don't do well at this particular race. It's just such a long race. By the time you've been running for a mile and 4/10, and now they're going to ask you to sprint that last tenth of a mile. Not to say that he can't do it, but it's one thing if you are going up against a lot of second tier opponents, and maybe you're just the best horse in this the weaker race, but then you have a race like that has an essential quality and a Hot Rod Charlie and a Rock Your World and a known agenda in it. You can't just be a closer. You can't just be, okay, I'm a good closer, I can run this last 10 miles. You have to be an amazing sprinter, and you need to be able to pass these really great horses that already are in front of you, that are going to try to box you out, that also have great tactical speed, that are also great at just sprinting this last mile or getting it done. They've done it time and time and time again. So I don't think he's going to win this race. I don't even think he has a chance to place, really, because I think two of those horses are going to beat him. 2, 4, 7, and 6. But after that, if one of those horses gets a bad break, if Known Agenda has a bad start, or if Hot Rod Charlie gets boxed in, or you never know, something happens, just they have a bad race, I think he can show up in the third or fourth spot, kind of underneath. Like I said, I'm essentially banking on one of the other 4 horses that I had, or really 2 of them, being able to beat him. And I don't think that's going to be an issue. So third or fourth spots for him. And then Bourbonic, I'm really throwing him in just because it's a pleasure horse and he's got a good beneficial spot. And I'm going to say he can come in fourth. I'm throwing the third in there just in case something were to go crazy. He's kind of a slower horse. He's more of a plotter. He's also sort of a closer. I'm not really feeling good about that horse. It's just enough there for me to say, you know what, I don't want him to mess up my ticket. So I'm going to put him in third or fourth. And really, if you wanted to just put him in fourth, that's totally fine. I would lean the same way. I'm throwing him in the third spot just to be safe. Just in case he maybe noses out a Ronbauer, something like that. Again, I don't think he's good enough to beat my top horses, but he's just in that one hole. I would really be kicking myself if he messed up my ticket. So that being said, this is what my ticket's going to look like. It's going to be 2, 4, and 7 box all the way through. The 6 coming in second through fourth, and with Known Agenda, that is. And then Ronbauer and Bourbonic in third and fourth. Just again, Bourbonic is really just to hopefully increase the payout if he were to show up. Known Agenda is really not bad odds either. It's 6-1. At least, again, this is a morning line. It's probably going to change, and I could really see this going down to like 5-1. There's only 8 horses, so I see a lot of these. I can see a lot of the odds coming down just because a lot of people betting on the same horses and kind of leaving Bourbonic off their ticket. So Bourbonic, like I said earlier, he could go down to 7-1, but if the favorites just keep taking money like they're doing now, he could go up to 21. Transcodeina and Overtook are the 2 horses I'm just totally leaving off this ticket. 5 and 8. The 5, I have no idea why he's even in this race. I don't think it's any chance. I love his jockey. Santana Jr. runs a lot at Oakland. He's somebody I really pay attention to. He has a great record there. He's not familiar with this track. The horse obviously isn't familiar with this track. He didn't really impress me at the Preakness. Overtook he's okay. He's starting from the 8 hole. He's starting the furthest out of the 8 horses, and he's going to have to line up against 2 very competitive horses with Rock Your World and Known Agenda. And even if he can somehow manage to kind of keep pace with them, then as he closes into the rail, then in my opinion, he's going to run into Essential Quality and Hard Rock Charlie, and I don't see him doing much. So those two horses I'm totally leaving off the ticket. This ticket right here comes out to $108 if you pay a $1 ticket, or if you do a 10-cent ticket, it comes out to $10.80. So if you want to just put the $10 down, that's fine. If the favorites hit, like I'm thinking, the payout's probably going to be around the $285. Could even be a little bit lower. So don't expect a huge payday. If it's all the favorites, you're probably going to double your money, whatever your bet ends up being. If Bourbonic were to come in, or if Known Agenda comes in second, which hopefully he can pull that out, it's going to really boost your odds. I think Known Agenda, obviously has the better chance of doing this. Rock Your World also at 92, it's not terrible, but I think that those odds are going to go down too. He's another favorite. But I could see Known Agenda maybe kind of creeping up to like 8-1, 10-1. So if Known Agenda and Bourbonic come in, like if Bourbonic comes in fourth and Known Agenda maybe comes in like second or third, that payout could be really sweet. That could bump us up to like $500 to $1,000. And then you would, essentially either, you would multiply your money either 5 times or 10 times. So just depending on how the rest of the race plays out. So hopefully if we can cash this ticket, and I hope that you guys maybe learned something, or at least if nothing else, kind of learned how to maybe get the best of both worlds as far as taking the favorites and trying to increase your payouts as much as possible. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know who your pick is. I'm really interested. It's still time to place some more wagers, so I'd be willing to go out there and put some more places or shows if somebody can give me a good reason and a good horse. But thanks again for watching. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. Please put your picks below, like and subscribe. Have a great day.